What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here. Thank you for joining me on the Select Screen podcast. If you would, go over to linktr.ee/Select Screen, follow us and subscribe over there. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. What's up, selectors? It's Select Screen here with another amazing Select Screen podcast episode. Man, you guys are going to love this episode, man. We're going to be talking about NBA free agency. And man, I've got one of my favorite dudes coming onto the stream with me. But first, what I need you guys to do is check us out at linktr.ee/Select Screen. We're on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the Cash App. And the Cash App is $5elect5creen, 5creen. And man, like I said, this is just going to be a dope podcast. I want to bring on the one, the only, the Colonel, my man, M to the V to the P. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing good, bro. Another day, another dollar.
That's right.
But you know what they say, that's before taxes too, so.
That's right.
So,
We've been
man,
trying
I'm blessed to be here, my brother.
Yes.
By the time I get on, man, I've been waiting for, about 5-10 years now to try to get on with you. But, I've been waiting patiently in line, waiting for my turn.
That's right. We've been talking about doing this forever. And we have so much good convos on sports, on music. If you guys don't know, we've been doing music together for a long time now. And so naturally, just a friendship on, and we'll talk about our teams here in a little bit, but we've been talking about Big Three actually before we actually started the podcast. Just a lot of good sports talk, almost barbershop talk. So hopefully you guys
gotta love it.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and what you do.
Well, like my boy Genesis says, I go by the Colonel or MVP. Most everybody calls me MVP, but lots of people call me the Colonel because, of course, I'm ex-military. I did 6 years in the Army and have been a leader in my community and an advocate, for reaching out to at-risk youth and doing gang outreach, a lot of different stuff, trying to help out the community for, going on 2 decades now. So over time, everybody's kind of nicknamed me and kind of referred to me as the Colonel. So of course, I've got a YouTube channel. I'm a content creator as well on YouTube, and my channel is called Colonel Crunk. Being a CHH artist as well, I have a song on one of my albums that's called Colonel Crunk, and once again, just kind of talking about, being a leader, and that's the type of music and flavor that I do as well. Kind of that down south, with a little sprinkling of West Coast flavor in there as well. So, and that's why a lot of the teams that I follow, whether it be basketball or football or baseball, some of my teams are from the East Coast because that's where I originally grew up, was on the East Coast. Half my childhood before we moved out west to AZ. So a lot of the other half of the teams that I root for and follow are, West Coast teams. A lot of them, of course, from AZ, like the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, got that Phoenix Suns jersey on.
That's
yeah,
right.
We almost got that ring this year. It was kind of a sad ending. I guess, quote unquote sad, simply because we didn't win the whole thing, but at the same time, what a great season that the Suns had, almost winning the whole thing. Kind of coming out of, in a way, most people got to admit, the Phoenix Suns kind of came out of nowhere and almost took the whole thing, even though,
Absolutely.
Yeah, people, say, well, yeah, Devin Booker's been getting better and, DeAndre Ayton, when they drafted him, and he definitely filled in a hole that was needed. And then, of course, in the offseason, this past offseason, Phoenix picked up Chris Paul. So, yeah, most people would say, well, yeah, they kind of came out of nowhere. But at the same time, you can tell over time the Suns, like I said, they were getting all the pieces that they needed, putting everything together. And definitely, I would say probably most people would say what probably would have expected maybe in the next 2, 3, maybe as many as 4 years that they might be a title contender. But, I almost take it this past season. I mean, man, G-Life salute the Phoenix Suns and the whole organization, because regardless, even though we didn't win the whole thing, even though we didn't get that ring, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of, my team, of the Suns, because it's been a long time since we had something to be happy about, with the Suns. So,
and you've had some great talent. Again, you mentioned Devin Booker, and we'll kind of get into free agency, but tell me a little bit about how you're feeling as you're going through the playoffs, and you're like, this could be it. And each series, even when y'all blew through my Nuggets, each series you're like, man, this could be it. This could be it. This could be it. And then you hit the finals and you're like, yo, we've got the team. This could be it. What was that like for you?
It was exhilarating, I mean, it was exciting. I mean, at the same time, it was also, pretty nerve-wracking as well, because, realistically, even all season, even before we got to the playoffs, I knew we was going to be definitely a lot better, this season than we had been in previous seasons. So I already knew that. I just didn't know how good of a team we was going to be able. So going into the playoffs, when the season finally ended, we were 50 and 51 and 20 or something like that, or whatever, in second place, and the first place wasn't the Lakers. That already had my mind blown, like, wow, okay, the Suns is second place, and we're right behind the first place Jazz, not the Lakers, like everybody, said it was going to be. So that already had me, tripping. So as we made it into the playoffs, and the first round, it was like, okay, I think we definitely got the team to get past the first round, at least. Maybe we don't go no further than that, but definitely the first round. So then, and then of course, the first round was against the Lakers. And that definitely, had my heart beating in a lot of those games.
Sure.
But, ultimately the Suns was able to make it happen. Whether you want to say, hey, the chips fell in favor of the Suns, and, next thing you know, AD got hurt, and LeBron, and AD had already been hurt even before that. I mean, he had been dealing with his injuries even well before that series. Same thing with LeBron and that ankle, and yada yada. But hey, that's how sports is. You just never know. I mean, Absolutely. That's kind of been on CP3's resume every year, is that, man, he kills throughout the season, and then whatever team he's on gets into the playoffs, and then he gets hurt. And then that's it for the run for that team. So trust me when I say, I wouldn't look at it as we took advantage of the fact that, like, AD was, not up to 100%, and LeBron wasn't up to 100%. But once again, that's what happens, in the NBA, because, I mean, these guys are playing 70, 80 games a year. Hard. Regardless, and I guess what I'm trying to say ultimately is, in the playoffs, by the time the playoffs come, is anybody really 100%?
Not at all.
after playing 70, 80 some games. So
not all, not unless you're Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, exactly.
Who only played 30 games a year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great segue. Let's talk about some of these top free agents, man.
Ooh.
Kawhi just signed the other day.
Yeah.
Reportedly agreed to a 4-year deal worth $176.3 million to stay with the Clippers. What did you think about that? I guess I'll kind of put my 2 cents in. I'm all the way out on Kawhi Leonard, just because as a franchise guy, I'm a franchise guy. So the best way I can put this is when it comes specifically to the NBA, I like my team. You know, I'm a Nuggets guy, but I love, the Nuggets haven't won yet. So when they go out, I'm watching players, and, I kind of root for players. And one guy I just can't get behind is Kawhi Leonard because he's never really available. Even with the Spurs, and I've been on record on stream saying that, and I know one of my selectors, one of my viewers, RL, shout out to RL, is going to get on me on this.
They got something. They're going to have something to say about that.
Oh yeah, because he's a Spurs guy, and I've never been a Spurs guy, but I still respect Tim Duncan,
of course,
David Robinson, Popovich as a coach, right? But Kawhi always finds a way to make it about himself, but tries to put this spin on it, like I'm the very quiet guy who doesn't talk about a lot. I'm not causing a lot of trouble, but behind the scenes, the man is, he's destroying franchises. Yeah. When he went out to Toronto, they get a win by the skin of their teeth, and they win the championship, and then they go to LA. And this story about him in Westbrook and the way he kind of dogged Westbrook to get CP3 to. Or not CP3, I'm sorry. Paul George.
Yeah.
PG-13. See,
PG-13,
all these letters in there. Yeah. To get him to come out to LA, it's just like, man, this dude he wants to be viewed as a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hurt the franchise. And so that's kind of how I felt about even this year in free agency. He waited to the last minute when they could have went out and maybe got some other players.
Yeah.
He's getting a chunk of change. He might not even play this season, and he's already signed for $176 million. What's your take on Kawhi signing?
I'll tell you right now, I knew he wasn't going nowhere. And as for, and of course, anybody will tell you, well, because he said this, because he said that, because they did this, because they did that. Nobody really ever knew what he was going to do. But me, I just felt like at this point, why would he go somewhere else? When he left Toronto, to me, that wasn't surprising because, and maybe people will argue with me on this, but I always felt like he didn't want to be in Toronto anyway.
Right. That's very true.
So when, hats off to him. He went out there, did his thing, and they got a championship. He got Toronto a championship. So, hey, G-Life salute to him. And what he was able to do for that one season that he was there, he did it real big and got him a championship. But when it came time for, in that situation of, will he stay with Toronto or will he go somewhere else? Even at that time, I was like, he's going to leave. He's going somewhere else. Because he really don't want to be in Toronto. So, and that's what happened. He left, went to the Clippers. But this time around, I just felt like it was a different dynamic. It was a different situation. And there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to sign. The only question is, to me, was how much were the Clippers willing to give to him to keep him?
Right.
But
right.
I I never thought for 1 second he was going to bounce and go somewhere else. So, and you know, and I even heard, you know, Suns fans and those that follow the Suns and the websites, the Suns fan websites and stuff, and the group chats and pages that I'm on or whatnot. Everybody, you know, lots of people were saying, oh, you know, he might come to Phoenix. He might come to Phoenix because now that, which I guess in a way is true, now that people, just as CP3 did, now that people are seeing like, yo, man, the Suns is the real deal now, man. They ain't that bottom basement team anymore. You know,
sure.
So, man, you know, I'm going head. I'm like head out west and you know, see if I can't get a championship with him. So people were kind of saying that they, you know, that Kawhi was kind of one of those that were looking at, that was thinking about that as well. Like, man, you know, I might be able to get this next championship if I head out west, but I never bought into it.
And Phoenix is attractive because it's even though it's a small market, it's obviously warm there.
Yeah, very warm.
You know what I mean? So you're not dealing with anything crazy there. But then you got a young core. You've got another superstar in Devin Booker. I think Aiden.
He's coming along. He's
coming along, man. And you know, just kind of going back to the loss of the finals, I think that put a lot of experience on him.
Oh yeah,
you know, he has the experience of a finals underneath his belt, so that when they
so early in
so early, mm-hmm. and I mean,
and that's gonna go a long way.
Oh yeah, and to beat the MVP, you know, to sweep the MVP, I mean, there's a lot of good building blocks there that, you know, Kawhi could have been looking at that. On that note, and this is just kind of a side note, I want to ask you, what's your thought on let's say Kawhi doesn't get another championship with the Clippers, right? He finishes out his career and he never wins another championship. Who gets to claim him at that point? Who gets to put his jersey up in the rafters? Is it because you mentioned that, you know, he really didn't want to be in Toronto. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, we won in Toronto. Yeah. Like, does Toronto, I mean, that's their first championship. Does Toronto get to put Kawhi's jersey up? Because I don't think the Spurs are going to want him. You know, where does he go?
Probably not. But, I mean, he was with the Spurs for a grip. And he was on the Spurs when they won a championship.
True.
You know, so I mean, realistically, yeah, I would say the Spurs, but you know, like we both know, I think, you know, there's a bad taste in the organization's mouth to where they probably ain't even thinking about nothing like that. But
sure.
But who knows? I mean, time heals all wounds. So, you know, so I mean, you know, Kawhi still has a handful of years left.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Once again, if, you know, like you said, hypothetically, if he doesn't win another championship, you know, and in the next, you know, 5-10 years, who's going to want to claim him? By that time, who knows? The Spurs, you know, might feel a lot differently than maybe they would if they were asked that same question right now.
Sure. And again, my understanding of that was that, like, the team doctors again were rushing him back too soon and blah blah blah. And I'm like, Kawhi, you do know LeBron James is in the NBA, right? Like, LeBron James is responsible for a lot of people having and not having jobs. Like, if you want that medical staff gone,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure you could have went and said, look, these dudes, they got to go.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of surprising to me that he did that. Let's move on to your guy. I'm thinking, I could be wrong on this, but Chris Paul, again, decided to return a 4-year deal worth up to $120 million. This dude been hustling folks for a long time. He got a bag in Houston. He got a bag in Charlotte.
Yeah.
He should have had a bag in LA. How did you feel about Chris Paul returning back to Phoenix?
I'm excited. I was happy to hear that. To tell you the truth, I wasn't sure which way he was going to go. Mm-hmm. There was just so many. Cards that had to be played right. There was just so many different factors that that went into that decision. But ultimately, once I kind of sat down and really kind of analyzed that, I'm like, right now, Chris Paul has, I don't know what most people are saying, probably 3-4 more good years left before he retires, not before he isn't good enough to play before he retires. I mean, because he's already at 16, 17 years in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, retirement is right around the corner for him. So after I kind of sat down, did some, and analyzed it and was like, man, what would be kind of the best for him at this point? Because ultimately, and I had no problem with this. He's trying to get that championship. He knows he's close to retirement. He knows he's well over that hump, and he needs to get that ring. He wants to get that ring. Almost did it this year through Phoenix. I mean, that ultimately because I'm a big believer in teams paying their dues to get that ring, to hold that trophy up.
Sure.
And Phoenix necessarily, I couldn't argue for Phoenix that they paid their dues at this point, with the squad that they have to win a championship. Mm-hmm. But, as a whole, but Chris Paul has, CP3 has, he's paid his dues on a lot of different teams. Over a very long time, he's paid his dues, and he definitely, has paid his dues to earn the right to get that championship. But championships aren't just handed out. You still got to win it. Whether you paid your dues or not, you still got to be the best. Ric Flair, to be the best, you got to beat the best.
You got to beat the best. Yeah.
So Chris, hey, G-Life salute to you. I'm so thankful that you stayed. I'm so thankful for what you have done, thus far, with the organization and filling in that gap. But you still got to, in order to get that championship, in order to get that ring before it's too late, you got to beat the best. Now, the Bucks is the best.
That's it. And my 2 cents, and I got to be honest, Chris Paul has not been my favorite guy, mainly because, again, the Steve Kerr incident where we see him, he's shaking his hand, then he turns around and he's like, stone cold face, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, but as a player, you got to put respect on his name.
Yeah.
I honestly think probably after this season, we're going to hear stories of why he made that decision to stay in Phoenix. I think this move for Phoenix was a great move because he brings that veteran presence, that veteran leadership. And now that he's even experienced the finals, I think that's going to make and grow that team big time. I'm shocked, though. I'm shocked that he did stay, not because he didn't have that core, and not that he wasn't in a good place with Phoenix, but the opportunity. And we're going to talk about this guy. Let's see. He's way down my list. But with Schroeder for the Lakers denying that I think it was $40 million a year and he ended up taking 8 to go play in Boston. I was like, CP, he's on the banana boat gang. Like, he's going to the Lakers. This man was he should have been with Kobe. He should have been with Kobe. And of course, we know, was it David Stern denied that, So I thought, okay, he's gonna get his ring in LA. It's gonna be with LeBron. All the cards are there. And when I saw that he signed, I think that changed the league. I really do, because then the Lakers went, we're not getting him.
Yeah.
We got to go get a guard. And I know LeBron was on the phone. There's no way LeBron called Westbrook first and said, hey, bro, I know my boy CP's out there, but I'm going to call you. There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, it seems like CP was like legit, like, look, man, I got a good thing going here. Because at the same time, to your point, the Bucks they're the big dog. But in the West, technically, it's Phoenix, even through the regular season, so everybody starts at 0-0, everybody starts at 0-0. Now, another 0 to hero I want to talk about is Kyle Lowry leaving to go to Miami. This one blew my mind. I was like, because Miami to me had the biggest drop off. You went to the finals last year in the bubble, and everyone's like, the bubble's it's a baby title, it doesn't really count. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I think it was harder to play in the bubble in some ways.
I agree.
But the fall off that they had this year was crazy.
Yeah.
So question for you is, did he go there because he was like, look, I'm trying to get a tan out here in Miami, or is he really thinking, Miami can really beat the Bucks, but we know the Giants out there in Brooklyn?
Yeah. I really think he, overall, even though, yes, Miami did have, that drop off this season, and they shouldn't have, because realistically it was pretty much the exact same team. I mean, they lost Jay Crowder, who went to, Phoenix and ended up back in the finals again, So G-Life salute to Jay Crowder, because he knows where to go.
He does. Crowder can hoop.
Guess, but other than that, I mean, it was pretty much the same team. So I just could not figure out, as things were going and transpiring throughout the season, what was up with the Heat. I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, this is pretty much the exact same team.
Yeah.
That was in the finals the year before. So I couldn't figure it out. But obviously there was something there that was off. There was something there that was off. There was something there that was missing, whether you want to attribute that to Jay Crowder leaving or whatever. There was a hole that popped up that wasn't there before, and for some reason they just couldn't get it together. However, Miami did have their times. They did have their time of shine throughout the season, though. I mean, although they had 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 game losing streaks sometimes, they also had 3, 4, 5, 6 game winning streaks. So yes, they were up and down, because I follow the Heat myself, because my favorite player, which this is why this goes in when we're talking about Lowry. Lowry going over to the Heat. I started following the Miami Heat in 2015 when the Dragon, Goran Dragic, was traded from Phoenix to Miami. And I love me some Dragon, And now, where's the Dragon at?
Right.
He's in Toronto. What is up with Toronto? So but obviously, yeah, Lowry, he still saw something there. I think JB had a lot to do with that as well. I think JB had to tell him, Mr. Buckets had to tell him, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
The culture that they have down there in Miami, and the players that they have, and once again, a lot of those guys are going to be there on the Heat going into next season. Other than Dragic, I'm sad about that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you're not going to see me sporting a Raptors jersey. I got love for Toronto. I got love for Dragic, but I ain't going to be a Toronto fan now. But I am sad to see the Dragon leave Miami. So I don't know. Phoenix, maybe y'all need to holler at Toronto and maybe just go ahead and get Dragic.
Maybe.
And maybe that might be the little that we need to win the whole thing next year. I don't know, but I don't want to see. For some reason, I just thinking about the Dragon in Toronto for some reason just doesn't sit well with me. That's just me, though. I'm not saying anything bad about Toronto or whatever. For some reason, it's just the Dragon in Toronto just doesn't sit right with me. So, but I think Lowry sees what the possibility is there.
Yeah.
With him coming over to the Heat, he saw the possibility. He didn't see, he wasn't. Hey, I'm not worried about what they went through this past season and the ups and downs and the lefts and rights.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the possibility of what they have, what he can bring to the table, and I think he's like, I think we can do big things. So, and he's a great player too. So
he's a great player. And speaking of Toronto, again, he's a Toronto legend. I think his jersey's definitely going up in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
The Spurs are we're happy to have him. I think Miami will be happy to have him, but his heart. It was kind of heartbreaking to see him leave, and get traded down there, because he was the anti-Kawhi. He was like, look, I'm here. I want to be here. Yeah.
Most deep.
I don't want to go. Y'all almost went kicking and screaming,
Yeah.
So let's go into my last two questions. So on this, it's just quick fire.
Okay.
On free agency. So my first one for you is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons traded, or does he stay? Traded or stay?
I think stay.
You think he's gonna stay? Okay.
I think stay. So I'm not sure who else is gonna want to pick him up. Ben he's still got a lot of growing to do.
Sure.
And I don't know if he's as attractive right now, to other organizations as he was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
His game has kind of dropped off for whatever reason. So he's kind of got. So once again, I just don't know if he's as attractive anymore.
Absolutely. And then my last one for you, man. Well, I guess I could give my thoughts on that. I think they trade him, but I don't think they get anything back. I don't think they get anything back, just because I think Joel Embiid's like, get this dude out of here.
Well.
and the what makes it hard, just on a quick note, is that he ain't picking up the phone. He's not willing to wheel and deal a little bit. He could end up somewhere.
And that's the only reason why I said stay, was because I'm not sure that they're going to be able to find a team where they're going to be able to get something back.
Sure.
Something that they can go, okay, yes, sir. This is what we needed.
Sure. Yeah. Unless you unload some draft picks, maybe they send to Miami.
They're going to have to add some stuff to that. They ain't going to be able to just say, Ben, would you like to have Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They're gonna be
the dude who won't shoot.
Draft picks, to go with him, and we'll send you such and such, and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question for you, man. And again, I appreciate you being on with us. Is Westbrook? Let's go back to Westbrook in LA. I'm gonna say the real LA with the Lakers. Does Westbrook fit in with LeBron throughout the season, or do they bump it?
Once again, my opinion, I think that whole thing is going to explode. I think it's going to end up. I mean, it's going to be good overall in the long run, but I think they're going to end up like Brooklyn ended up. They're getting all this talent, and I love Westbrook. I personally have nothing bad to say about Mr. Westbrook, but and now they also got Dwight Howard back. He's coming back for his third stint. With the Lakers. I just think it's too many generals. Too many generals. Too many. What do they say? Too many chiefs. Not enough Indians.
Yep.
I just don't think it's going to end up like they hope, because I mean they tried that years ago with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard was on. That was what his second or first stint with the Lakers, and let's get him, let's get Steve Smash and bam, and man, you guys are you're gonna get that first championship, Steve. Bam, Dwight,
Gary Payton.
Because man, we got heavy hitters here. And what happened? That whole thing just fell apart before it even got started.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen this time around. I don't think it's going to be to that level. I'm just saying I just don't think it's going to end as successful as everybody is thinking.
I agree. I think it's going to come from another source though, and this is me being. I got to play my disgruntled Denver Nuggets card. I think the worst thing they did was actually get Carmelo Anthony. I have been, even while Carmelo was here, and I know a lot of people hate that I say this. This is one of my hot takes, but Carmelo Anthony, for me, is not a team player. He's just not a team player. I mean, if I go back to that Nuggets squad, they had a tough team in the West. I mean, when you're playing with a Hall of Famer in Allen Iverson, and you guys are struggling, Chauncey Billups was on the way. That was very, very indicative of what was going on. When he went to New York, everybody go, he just needed a bigger market. Couldn't get it done. Then you're playing with Dame time with the Blazers, right? You got a reduced role. Your job is to do the one thing that you do, score the basketball. And you couldn't help Dame. I see him bumping heads with LeBron, believe it or not, because I think his mentality is I'm still number 15 Carmelo, and LeBron's going, I'm still LeBron. I'm still number one, number two, maybe number two in the league. Carmelo, you think you're 3 or 4. You're really like 19 in the league, 20, and so I can see LeBron. Yeah, right. I can see LeBron going, Melo, look, you're not getting the ball here. Your job is not to go one-on-one with folks. Your job is to clean up the boards and get some layups.
Yeah.
And I don't see Carmelo taking that well. I think Westbrook's on a mission. He's on a mission to prove that people keep saying I can't play with other people. And this goes back to my Kawhi argument. Kawhi's out here telling people I can't play with people. KD, I mean, even James Harden to some degree, he didn't really come out and say it. I think he's on a mission to show folks like, look, I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm gonna come in here. I've already seen some stuff on Instagram of him and LeBron putting in work together. I think Westbrook's gonna come in with the attitude of, I'm at home. I'm with one of the greatest basketball players of all time. We could win this, and have that kind of killer mentality, which I feel like LeBron lacks. So they're a good pairing, but the other outlier I didn't talk about was Anthony Davis, man. And again, you might hate this, but I'd have traded Anthony Davis. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Trade Anthony Davis. That man ain't going to give you that many games. And playoff time, he's just not. When you look at Aiden, I think even if Anthony Davis played, I think he would have ate Anthony Davis up, because I like the combo guard or combo forward or center, whatever you want to call him, but he can't go down there and put some weight on somebody. Yeah, because his ankle will give out, or his finger goes the wrong way. So I agree with you. I can see them kind of imploding. I would not be shocked if Carmelo is traded by the trade deadline. I would not be shocked. And I think ESPN is going to have a field day and say, look at LeBron. They're going to put it all on LeBron.
Yeah, of course.
I don't necessarily feel like that's fair, but he's going to blow up. At least I think Dwight will end up going to he's going to move some people. Yeah. He's going to move some people.
They're going to have to. I just don't see all of them making it together, like you said, with all those different dynamics throughout this whole entire next season. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not if they want to get back to the finals.
Yeah.
And win it all. It ain't going to happen with that, all those Chiefs running around there and like you said, and this person thinking, man, you're thinking too much of yourself, and you're not there yet. You're not at that point anymore. You're yada yada. This is my team.
Yeah.
We need you to do this, do that. But I thought I came here to do this. No. And like I said, there's gonna be a lot of confusion that's gonna be happening. That's gonna cause that thing to implode. So
yeah. All right.
We'll have to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. We got to do this last thing. I know I said those were the last two questions. I'm going to give you guys my conference picks already. My conference final picks and my finals picks. Maybe not necessarily who wins the finals. Colonel wants to do the same in the East next year with all these changes made just, before the season even starts. I'm going in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm going to take Brooklyn, and I'm going to take the Bucks getting back to the conference finals. In the West, believe it or not, I'm taking the Jazz. We didn't talk about the Jazz, but Donovan Mitchell getting hurt, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I think the Jazz are going to be right there again.
Yeah.
And then I'm a hometowner, so I'm gonna go Jazz and Denver. Denver gets over that hump, and then in the finals, again, of course, I'm gonna take Denver. In the West, and I think Brooklyn goes ahead and they go in the finals. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna pick a finals pick yet. How about you?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, definitely Eastern Conference Finals. I'm gonna have to say the Bucks are gonna get back definitely. And I don't know about that with the Nets though. I'd probably say, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna just throw Miami in there. I think Miami's gonna figure it all out. I think that they're gonna have those additions that they need, and they're gonna get back to where they were 2 years ago, and this past season they gonna get their revenge on the Bucks.
Okay.
They gonna get their revenge on the Bucks. So
okay.
but yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And in the West, yeah, I'm of course I gotta go with Phoenix, and yeah, I agree with you on that as far as with the Jazz. I think if some things had fallen, just a couple things had fallen differently for them, they probably would have knocked out the Clippers. So
yeah.
So Phoenix and the Jazz, and then I don't know. I want a rematch. Phoenix and the Bucks in the finals.
Okay.
Phoenix takes it all this year. So
okay. A revenge.
Phoenix takes it all. That's what I would say.
Okay, the Colonel wants to run back. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. That's what's up, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the channel. You want to tell us again where they can find you and find information on you?
Yeah, most definitely. My YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Colonel Crunk TV. Got lots of content up there. Got my Above the Rim, where I combine CHH and CHH music and hoops together, and do my content with that, as well as some other stuff. So definitely check me out on that, or just my regular website, which is colonelcrunk.com. And you can find all my music and videos and music videos and my YouTube videos and all the content video wise that I make right there. You can find it easily on my website. Once again, colonelcrunk.com is the easiest place to go to find it all in one spot. So
perfect, man. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, I'm glad you had me on, my brother. Love you, man. Appreciate it.
You too. Well, that's it, selectors, man. What an amazing podcast. Excuse my dogs in the background. We're going to wrap it up today. You can find us at linktr.ee/select screen. Definitely go check out Colonel's Crunk. The whole thing, man. Just an awesome guy. Go check out his music as well. You can find us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, at linktr.ee/select screen. Do two things for me, though. Be kind to one another. Remember to choose your destiny. My name's Select Screen, and I'm out.